Well, the holiday break has concluded, and conference college basketball play is in full swing. And tonight, the number 16 Marian Knights take on the University of St. Francis Cougars in Crossroads League men's basketball action. We welcome you in to the PE Center on the campus of Marian University. Alongside Bill Finland, I'm Rob Brown. Happy you're with us on this Wednesday night. And for both of these teams, Coach, a big game, certainly for this Marian team, as the league is starting to get congested, 7 games in. Marian in a 4-way tie for that 3rd spot coming into tonight's action. And they're in a position with this game tonight against St. Francis where you cannot afford to give away any conference home games.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Everyone is getting into the meat of the conference schedule now. And defending on your home court is of paramount importance. And I think that when you have problems in overall season results, a lot of times you can point back to games like this. So can't have any mental breakdowns, got to defend home court to begin the month of January here.
Well, Coach Scott Hattie has played his bench liberally. 11 players on this Marian roster averaging at least 10 minutes per game. But the bench is shortened a little bit tonight. Some players not available due to injury. Only 9 in uniform tonight. Be interesting to see how that affects the rotation for Marian this evening.
Well, 11 guys playing double-digit minutes, even if 1 or 2 of them are dinged up, that's still terrific depth. So I think that is a big key to tonight's game, is whether Marian can take advantage of that depth and kind of wear St. Francis down a little bit tonight.
Well, and lastly, you and I talked before we came on air tonight, both of these teams are in a situation academically where they're just getting back to school and getting back into routine after a couple weeks on a holiday break. How much does that play a factor tonight?
Yeah, you know, you just never know. I always felt like when I was coaching, it was better to get back in that routine. You know, when you're not in a routine, it's hard to be consistent. And now how much of a routine they got into in the last 2 days since classes started on Monday, I don't know. But I'm sure they're glad to be back, see their students in their Hawaiian shirts out here today. And even though it might not be exactly Hawaii weather out there, you know, we can all just use our imagination.
Well, we're looking forward to this one tonight. We're going to step out, take a break for the national anthem, come back. We'll have the lineup in the tip for tonight's Crossroads League game between the University of St. Francis Cougars and the Marian Knights. And it's next on the ISC Sports Network and Comcast 81.
Is your building haunted or infested with icky snakes? Then tear it down. The Raised Trash Demolition Squad can flatten buildings up to 3 stories tall. Whether it's a commercial or residential structure, the Raised Trash Demo experts will make it go boom. And with their roll-off containers, they'll haul away the mess quicker than you can say, hey, there used to be a building there. Bring your old fire trap to its knees with Raised Trash.
RaisedTrash.com.
Raised Trash.
The minute I stepped foot on campus, I didn't want to leave.
Everyone here is about helping you succeed. It's hard work, but it's totally worth it.
I have so much support from my advisors.
The nursing program is why I chose Marian.
I'm studying to be a teacher.
I'm a business major.
My professors really challenge me, and I know I'll be ready for my career.
A great education is the best thing you could ever do for yourself.
Marian University, an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you.
Now back at the PE Center on the campus of Marian University. The crowd is still continuing to file in as Coach mentioned the students clad in the Marian University themed Hawaiian shirts tonight. Let's go down to the floor for the intros of tonight's starting lineups.
Of the University of St. Francis. At guard, a freshman from Sellersburg, Indiana, number 2, Braden Northern. At forward, a freshman from New Haven, Indiana, number 3, Joe Rady. At guard, a sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 4, Zane Burke. At guard, a senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 5, Dan McKeeman. At guard, a graduate from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 12, Antoine Cushingberry. The Cougars head coach in his 12th season is Chad Lacrosse. Ladies and gentlemen, starting lineups for the St. Francis Cougars.
Well, notable while we run this 45-second intro package, no Brayton Bailey tonight, Coach, who started all 17 games heading into tonight. Tweaked a knee against Taylor on Saturday. Expected to be back in action on this Saturday, but he's a no-go tonight. But Antoine Cushingberry, who was not listed as an original starter when they handed in the lineups, he is in the lineup tonight, and he is their leading scorer at 20 points a game.
Indianapolis guy, and he's probably got a few folks in the stands here tonight to cheer him on. He's a very quick, electric player. I can remember him from high school.
Let's go back down to the floor for the Marian University starting lineup.
Starting lineups for your Marian University Knights. At forward, a 6'8" senior from El Cajon, California, number 3, Tayshawn Cherry. At forward, a 6'6" senior from Floyd's Knobs, Indiana, number 23, Luke Goldman. At guard, a 5'11" senior from Carmel, Indiana, number 11, Luke Petty. At guard, a 6'1" senior from Morristown, Indiana, number 25, Hayden Lane-Cable. Rounding out the night starting lineup is a 6'1" senior guard out of Richmond, Indiana, wearing number 2, Christian Harvey. The Knights head coach in his 6th season, Scott Petty. Ladies and gentlemen, starting lineups for your Marian University Knights.
Scott Hetty in his 6th year, as our PA announcer mentioned. Chad Lacrosse, the head man for St. Francis in his 13th season. You see Hayden Lane-Cable on your screen. Notable, Josh Bryan unable to go tonight for the 2nd straight game for Marian, so Luke Hetty gets his 2nd straight start at the point guard spot. Knights in the home whites. Navy blue lettering, gold numerals trimmed in navy blue, and St. Francis wins the tap, clad in black. The white numerals, or white lettering, royal blue numerals trimmed in white. Cushingberry was stripped a couple times by Harvey, and now the Giants, or the Knights, come away with it. Harvey crosses up the defender to the goal, he lays it in.
Speaking of electric.
Harvey coming in 12.5 points per game.
Harvey and Cushingberry should be a great matchup tonight. Two super quick guys.
Burke, played by the larger Cherry, drove into the lane. Up and under move is up and in, off the board left side. Knights quickly attacking, and Cushingberry takes it away from Harvey. 2-on-1 up the right side against Goman, and Cushingberry lays it in. End-to-end action quickly.
Couple of turnovers to start the game from both teams. Got to take care of the basketball.
Cherry posting on the freshman Reedy. Baseline jumper's too strong, and Burke has the weak side rebound.
He's got a real size advantage. I'd like to see him get it a little deeper than that. I think a lot of times guys are defaulting to catching that ball off the box.
Northern works the right side against Teddy. Shot clock down to 12. Burke in the corner. Takes Goman to the block, spins in the lane, jump hook off the board and in.
Great footwork. Faced up, turned it into a post move. Couple of fakes, froze him, knocked in that little baby hook. That's tough.
Harvey all the way to the rim, missed it short. And Northern on the push, 3-on-3. Weaves through the lane, leaves for Burke, steps into a trailing 3 that's way short. But he got his own rebound, beat Goman to the basketball. And the reset, McKeeman steps into 3 that's no good. Lane-Cable with a nice block out. High-low into Cherry. He spun one way and the pass went the other. Northern walks it across the line. And McKeeman sets up. McKeeman gets it back in the corner. Cushingberry wants a screen. Waits for Rady to arrive. At double top of the key. Northern late clock 3 is over everything and picked up by Lankable. Stripped in the lane. Cushingberry got a hand on it again. That's the second time he's caused a turnover. And Cushingberry 3 is too strong, and Cherry has the rebound.
You can tell that St. Francis is really aware of his penetration, and the next guy is kind of digging in and making it hard for him to get through some of the gaps. It'll be interesting to see if they can kind of keep that up. I think that's a really important part to shutting Marian down, is taking that penetration away.
Harvey on the left side. Out top, Lankable along 2. That's off the back of the rim. Cushingberry taps the rebound to Burke. Northern out between the circles with 20 to shoot. Rady up to set the screen. Northern takes Lankable into the paint. Scoop shot is off the rim, but Rady took it away from Goman. And the possession continues for the Cougars.
So if this possession is any indication of what we're going to see tonight, you can really see the coach trying to orchestrate them, St. Francis, into taking a little more time offensively. It's going to be hard for Marian to score if they don't have the ball.
Harvey gets the trailing pass from Hetty all the way to the rim. He put it up too strong, but Cherry's there to flip it in.
So I think a big key tonight is going to be who's going to decide what speed this game's going to be played at.
Northern had Rady on the roll for a moment, but Goman cut that off. Burke to the top. Cherry plays Cushingberry on a switch. Rady up to set the high screen, now played by Goman. 5 to shoot. Cushingberry takes Goman to the rim. Goman blocked the shot. Here comes Cherry. Cherry surveys. Goman steps into a trailing 3. No good.
Kind of reloaded that one. Might have traveled on the catch, and he knew it. It didn't get called, but you know he's thinking about it.
Just enough to cause that shot to go offline.
Exactly.
Neither team has made a 3 as of yet. Northern's 3 is no good, but McKeeman's got the offensive rebound, and he flips it in. McKeeman's got a 35-point game earlier this year to his credit. His first 2. Back to a 4-point lead for the Cougars. Couple subs at the table for both teams. Hetty facing up at the right arc. And Cherry. 3 over Rady's good. Tayson Cherry hits the game's first 3. And the lead down to 1 for St. Francis.
I think if you're St. Francis, that's what you'd like to see him do. Taking a reloaded 3 that's kind of guarded. A guy who's shooting 27, 28% from the 3-point line.
Burke, tough drive in the lane. He's fouled by Lankable. First foul of the game. $13:56 to go on this media timeout. We'll stay here. 8-7 the score. We want to stay here because Ted Karras, the new football coach, same as the old football coach, the original Marian University football coach, is back for stint number 2. Came out to wave to the crowd during this timeout. Won the first national championship.
Yeah, it worked the first time.
It worked the first time.
So why not give it another go?
So 13:56 to go in the first half. 8-7 the score. Rob Brown alongside former DePaul University head man Bill Finland. Coach, what have you seen so far as tempo and which team has gotten a better
I
hand
think
so
tempo's
far?
the thing, really. I mean, you can see that if they don't have numbers, St. Francis is being extremely deliberate on the offensive end. They know where they want to get it. They've gotten Burke in a bunch of kind of off-the-block post-ups already, and they want to keep the ball out of Marian's hands. And I think that's a pretty good strategy. Obviously, there's a shot clock, so you can only control so much tempo. But that said, I think Marian would like to giddy up a little bit. They'd like to get up and down the floor, and it's going to be really interesting to see, who can kind of be tough enough to stay with those game plans.
And Burke shoots free throws. First one's no good. Burke, one of 2 players on this St. Francis team that won an Indiana State high school title. Played on the Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian team that won the Class A title in 2001 alongside Mr. Basketball that season, Caleb First, who's now at Purdue. Couple new faces in for the Knights. Gavin Foe, number 44, is on, the 6'3" redshirt freshman. Harvey got the screen, got to the rim, and drove right into the chest of Evan Lowden, who's into the game.
Didn't do a great job of handling that ball screen that time. Not a very good hedge, and he was able to take advantage of it and get to the rim, get the contact.
Christian Harvey shoots 2. 77%er on the year. Appeared in this is 107th game in a Marian uniform. All those career game played records at any college are going to get obliterated with the COVID year and everything else.
A lot of them. Scoring records, game played records, nasal swabbing records, all of them.
Second tie of the night, 9-9 our score. McKeeman hands to Ashton Johnson, who's in the game, freshman number 23. Foe plays Burke in the corner. Skips it across the paint to Lowden. He drives on Whitaker. Back to Johnson for a kick-out 3 that's good. That's Ashton Johnson, the freshman from Fort Wayne Southside.
It looks like they really like to play through Burke on those off-the-block post-ups, Rob.
Harvey's 3 rims out. Johnson's on the run. Whitaker is into the game for Marian as well, the sophomore out of Greencastle. Ball knocked free on the turnover. Foe's got it. Up the left side, waits for help. Out top, Cherry. Run off the three-point line by Rady. Turns into a foul line jumper that's no good. And Rady's got the rebound.
Tough contested mid-range shot that time.
Certainly if you're Chad Lacrosse, that's what you're looking for defensively. McKeeman had it knocked free, stolen by Cherry, and a foul call. Cherry was off to the races, but instead he gets called for the foul, and probably fortunate he wasn't called for a delay of game.
Well, he did tuck it under his arm and run back with it, so.
Maximus Gizzi is on from Marian. The junior out of New Pal. Burke backs in, turns on Foe, and flips it in with the left hand.
He's got some really shifty, good footwork down there. There's a reason why they're playing through him.
He's got 7 points, 7 of their 14. Goman back over to Gizzi. Gizzi picked up by Rady on a switch. Fires it out front. Whitaker on a tough drive to the rim. Put it up too strong. Goman, though, taps it up with one hand. He fended off the defensive rebounder with the other.
Luke Goman, he's just one of those guys, you know. You're not sure what he's doing, and then he's doing all kinds of things. You look up at the end of the game, and he's got a bunch of rebounds, got a couple of threes, got some timely buckets like that one.
And this is his 138th game.
He is the Marian University Swiss Army knife.
Burke hits again from the left side this time. He's got 9. Came in averaging 15 and a half. 16-11 the score. Largest lead of the evening for St. Francis. Langcable found Whitaker on a back cut. He tight ropes the inline.
Wow.
Able to keep it in and keep the possession going. Now Langcable runs screen roll with Goman. Langcable into the paint, up and under move, flip it in and put him on the line.
Good footwork by Langcable that time too. Just good fake, good pivot, good step through. Able to absorb a little bit of a hit there and finish that shot.
Foul went to McKeeman, who picks up his first. Langcable completes the three-point play. Trims the deficit down to 2 for the Knights. Johnson to the wing. McKeeman feeling his way against Langcable in the corner. Shot blocked on the help by Whitaker. Goman on the run. Gizzy gives to Langcable. Faux resets. Whitaker behind the back, driving on Loden to the rim, put it in, tied the game.
Just forced the issue right there, got all the way to the rim.
Whitaker averaging 9 points off the bench. He's been very solid in the last couple weeks. 3 double-figure scoring games in his last 4.
Pretty good play by the former Greencastle Tiger Cub.
Johnson on the wing. Burke turns and shoots and scores again. There is no anecdote for Burke right now. Chad Lacrosse wants time. We'll go ahead and stay right here. We'll go ahead and stay right here with 9:52 to go here in the first half, and St. Francis leading this game by 2, 18-16. Tonight's game brought to us by AAA Roofing. When it rains, it pours, so trust the pros at AAA Roofing. That's who we call AAA Roofing. Tonight's game also brought to us by Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi and some friends and get in the game. Pepsi, proud partner of the Marian University Knights. And we missed this read during the pregame, but tonight's starting lineups was sponsored by the O'Brien Automotive family. If saving money is important to you, visit Tom O'Brien, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, a proud sponsor of Marian Athletics. Tom O'Brien is Indy's preferred Jeep dealer with 2 locations and the biggest Jeep inventory in Indiana. To show their support, Tom O'Brien will donate $200 to Marian for every car any student, parent, employee, or friend of Marian buys when you mention this promo. Go Knights! And go to Tom O'Brien to see how our family works for you since 1933. Here's Brody Whitaker, got it started at one end with the block shot. And then he finishes with the tough layup, one-on-one against Loden for his first 2 of the night.
Might have got away with a little hook on that one. Kind of grabbed him around the hip. I have to feel like the game is being played the way Coach Lacrosse would like it to be played right now from a tempo standpoint. We'll see if St. Francis can continue to control the speed of the game.
Gizzy drive into the paint. Kicks to Whitaker, passes deflected, so it took some time getting there, allowing the defense to reset. Cherry's back in the game. Backing in the post on Johnson. Turnaround shot up and in. That's
not a good matchup. Or it is a good matchup, depending on who you're talking to.
Well, we'll see how often they go to that. Cherry with a huge size advantage against the 6'2 Johnson. Cherry stands 6'8. Now Burke draws Cherry away from the hoop. Picked up on a double on the baseline, but finds Johnson in the corner for 3, and he's got his second 3 of the game off the bench.
What a great find.
Ashton Johnson, averaging less than 2 points per game, has 6.
They sucked down to help on the original move, and then he moved away from it and went back to it.
Gizzy gives to Langcable. Now tough fall away shot by Whitaker's good with a hand in his face. My.
No. Good shot. Off the bounce. contested. It's a tough bucket right there.
Marian's only lead was 2-0. St. Francis has led by as much as 5. And Burke's got a 3, his first of the night, giving 14 points in the ball game. Season high is 23, and he's well on his way.
Zane Burke means business tonight. He's not messing around.
Gizzy's got it back on the wing, looking for Cherry, picked up by the smaller McKeeman. Kick out to Whitaker for 3, and he's got it.
Looks like Brody Whitaker might mean business tonight, too.
Whitaker was 7 off the bench here in the first half. Average is just over 9 a game. Back to a 1-point St. Francis advantage. Scott Hetty checks his note card. Goes back to watching his team dig in defensively. Burke, quick catch and shoot. He rushed that one a little bit, and it's rebounded by Whitaker. Gizzy surveys into the lane. Lost the handle, got it back. Now Langcable. Cherry, deep catch, and he's fouled on the catch by Burke.
You know what? It's funny. As I'm watching it, I feel like they've got a bunch of different guys guarding Cherry. The most natural matchup for them is probably Burke guarding Cherry, but they don't want what just happened there to happen. They don't want him to get in foul trouble because they're playing through him, and he's playing extremely well right now.
Picked up the foul his first. He checks out with 14 points, his first rest of the night. Rady's back in to play Cherry. Cushingberry has returned for the Cougars as well. Hetty's back in for the Knights. Short on the 3, but it comes right back to him. They'll reload it. Goman. Dump into Cherry. Kick out Hetty. Christian Harvey's back into the game. No space for him to drive with 10 on the shot clock. Whitaker behind the back. Tough fall away. He got it. Kicked the leg out and everything. And the Knights have their first lead of the night.
That was a carbon copy of the last bucket, so I'm guessing that's a thing he can do.
Whitaker with 9 off the bench. Down the baseline, load and run right into a double team. Dumped it to Rady, and he's muscled off the shot by Cherry. Ball falls short. Here come the Knights the other way. Cherry rolls over Rady at the foul line. The block's called on the floor. The foul called on Rady. That was a tough sequence.
It's a pretty good job by Cherry of just staying straight up. You know, he kind of made a little contact with his lower body, but he kept his arms out of there, didn't foul, and then comes back on the other end, is really aggressive off the bounce.
Now Christian Harvey had to burn a timeout to avoid the 5-second call. 30-second timeout will stay here. We'll stay right here. Marian with a 1-point lead, 25-24. 6:29 to go first half. Tonight's game brought to us by BSN. A thank you to BSN, the preferred provider of apparel for Marian Knight athletics.
That is one thing that'll drive you a little nuts, Rob, is having to burn a timeout on an out-of-bounds play. It means somebody didn't execute. Because most out-of-bounds plays have a way to get the ball in bounds. That's kind of how they're designed.
Well, the look on Scott Hetty's face would certainly suggest that as well. Not a lot of fouls called, just 14 fouls on St. Francis, 2 on the Knights. Cherry lost the dribble. Reset to Hetty on the wing. Cherry bounces out. Dribble handoff to Hetty. 3 behind the screens off the rim and rebounded by Northern, who's back into the contest.
They went under that little handoff and gave Hetty a free look right there. He just couldn't knock it down.
Rady hands to Cushingberry. Cushingberry just 1 out of 4 so far. Burke has carried the offensive load for the Cougars. Loden got by Cherry, who slipped, and that gave Loden a gap to lay it in with the right hand. St. Francis back in front, 26-25. Harvey between the circles, Goman. Hetty flaring out top of the key. Whitaker behind a screen. Long with it. Goman tried to fight through some traffic to get the offensive rebound, but Northern first to it.
Really good action by Marian that time. Just couldn't get it to go.
Cushingberry holds. It's to Rady at the foul line. Loden run off the three-point line. Into the lane against Goman. Got himself in a bad spot, 3 seconds. And we'll see this in the second half when the Cougars are running offense in front of their bench. But you mentioned it earlier, Coach. It's almost like Chad Lacrosse is coaching this game like a football coach, where he's calling every single offensive set.
He's trying to get him into a lot of stuff, and he's also trying to, he figures, you know, we only need 15 seconds to run our set. Why do we need to shoot it in the first 15 seconds? So he's actually trying to get them to put the brakes on if they don't have numbers in transition.
Out of the double team, Harvey hits the three on the kick out from Langcable.
That is not something that you see from Harvey very often, only his 5th three-pointer of the year. He's really a driver, so that's added bonus for Marian.
Third three of the night for the Knights. Cushingberry turned the corner on Harvey and drew the foul. Burke has returned, number 4 on your screen in the black jersey, leading the Cougars with 14 points. Antoine Cushingberry, who was a NAIA All-American last year, averaging just under 20 a game. He is quiet in the scoring column as he misses the jumper long. He's 1 for 5 so far. Pull-up three by Goman is good. And he salutes the student section as he comes back up the sideline. It's a 5-point Marian lead.
Mr. Swiss Army.
It's an 11-2 run for the Knights to flip a 4-point deficit into a 5-point lead. Under 4 minutes to go, first half. Northern behind the screen, short with the three. Langcable needs help as it's 1-on-4. He'll wait for reinforcements. Cherry fades back off the screen. Missed the three. No, he knocked it in. Oh, my. Cherry thought he was fouled by Rady, but he knocks the three in anyway for his second three of the game.
That was a tough shot.
Just like that, it's an 8-point lead for the Knights. Students are into it. Cushingberry finds Rady on the roll to the goal. He lays it in.
Good read off that middle side ball screen, or middle ball screen. Not a lot of help in there.
That was a bucket the Cougars needed as the Knights had rolled off 9 straight points before that hoop by the freshman Joe Rady. And a legal screen called on Cherry. And he suppresses his inclination to have a discussion about it.
Yep, got to avoid that.
Second foul on Cherry. He'll head to the bench as Foe returns.
He never let him get. He never got set, and he didn't give him a chance to see anything. He kind of came up from behind, never really got set. I think that was a pretty good call.
Johnson's back in, as is McKeeman for the Cougars. McKeeman curls off a screen, catch and shoot off the rim. Burke's got the offensive rebound in low.
Guess who?
In a double team, he threw it up trying to draw a foul, and a late whistle will put him on the line, much to the dismay of Scott Heddy.
Well, I think that the outside official was waiting for the underneath guy to call it. He didn't call it, and he's like, okay, we're going to have to give it to him.
So Foe takes the foul, his first and the team's 5th, but Burke hitting the act. Shoots a couple here. And the free throw's no good. Just 6 free throw attempts combined in the first half. Burke has shot all 4 St. Francis free throws, and he splits the pair as he did earlier in the half. 15 points for Burke to lead all scorers. It's a 5-point Marian lead. 3 at the top by Langcable's off the back of the iron and pulled down by Loden as the Cougars come the other way. Rady at 6'7", backs a smaller Langcable down, finds Johnson in the lane all the way to the goal, and without the 6'8" Cherry in there to protect the front of the rim, Johnson's able to get in and finish.
They really like to play through that short corner spot. That ball has touched that spot, I'll bet, 12 times already in this half.
We'll go ahead and take a break as Scott Heddy calls a full timeout. 2:20 to go first half. Marian leads 34-31. We'll step out quickly and come right back to the PE Center of the campus of Marian University. You're watching the Marian Knights on ISC Sports Network.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Well, good crowd on hand tonight on this Wednesday night. Crossroads League action. Other games around the league tonight. Grace, the number 7 team in the country, is at Bethel. Spring Arbor's at Huntington. Indiana Wesleyan atop the league with a 7-0 record and ranked number 6 in the country. Wildcats are at Goshen, and Taylor is at Mount Vernon Nazarene.
You know, the DePaul University Tigers are hosting the Oberlin College Yeomen tonight, Rob.
If you
I don't know if you realize
had given me 10 guesses to the Oberlin mascot, I would not
You
have.
weren't going to come up with yeoman? Do you know what a yeoman is?
Somebody that works hard, or works on a ship.
Yeah, that
to be
is correct.
specific.
That is correct.
Out of the timeout, Whitaker fades from the elbow jumper, is too strong. McKeeman's got the rebound ahead to Loden.
Well, if you're St. Francis, I think this half has gone pretty well from a game plan standpoint.
Burke spins on Foe to the baseline, stripped on his way up, got the loose ball first to it, and he flipped it in.
This guy's just finding ways to get buckets.
17 points for Zane Burke. His season high is 23. He's done that a couple of times. He's well on his way. Inside 100 seconds to go, first quarter. Langcable flips it up and in and draws the foul as the first half winds down. That's Rady's foul, his second, and the team's fifth.
He's going after a bigger, longer guy, and he just was able to kind of get him off balance and get a little space and knock that one in.
Missed the free throw. Rady's been victimized by that a couple times where a Marian player has gotten into his chest and finished right through him. 36-33.
With his length, he's better off keeping a little bit of space so he can go up and contest shots.
Shot clock down inside 10. Loose ball scooped up by Whitaker. 2-on-1. Whitaker all the way. Left hand missed it. Flying in to finish his Foe. Where did he come from? Oh my! Gavin Foe elevates and finishes.
You know, that's a great play for a lot of reasons. He shows a little athleticism, makes a play above the rim, but I think more importantly, you know, you see a guy going for a breakaway, and a lot of times guys will just kind of stop. You know, they won't hustle in behind because very often that's what happens. Guy misses a layup. If you're hustling, you got a chance to mop up right there.
And the redshirt freshman out of Johnstown, Ohio finishes for his first two. Johnson works on him at the other end. Burke against Goman. Backs him down into the double team to Northern. Northern crossed up Whitaker, faked him off his feet, fouled on the way up, but the foul is going to be called on the floor on Whitaker. So a non-shooting situation, as that's only team foul 6 on the Knights. Shot clock with a partial reset to 20 off the defensive foul. Northern baseline right. Flings it out to Burke, who leads all scorers with 17. Cushing-Berry, one-on-one at the arc against Harvey. Drives into the lane. Look away pass to Johnson for a corner three. Foe might have gotten a piece of it, but the rebound tapped out to Johnson. The possession continues. Now the Cougars can play for one as the shot clock and the game clock are virtually in sync. First half winds down. Cushing-Berry with 8. Northern topside with 5. Johnson, a foul called away from the play. If that's on Marian, that's 4, or that's 7, and They've put St. Francis in the bonus with 4 seconds to go. Oh, my.
McKeeman was running off that little chin screen, that elbow screen, and he did have a little bit of a bear hug on him right there.
So Foe whistled for the foul, his second. More significantly, it's a 1-and-1 as it's the 7th team foul on the Knights. McKeeman's an 83%er. Measures and hits. Senior out of Fort Wayne Carroll High School. Second team All Crossroads League player last year. Second one on the way, good. And Chad Lacrosse has a use it or lose it timeout here. So he'll take one and we'll keep it here. Marian will have some time with 4 seconds to go. 4 seconds to go here in the half. Knights with the basketball in a 3-point lead. Tonight's game brought to us by the M Club. Joining the M Club is the absolute best way to support the student athletes at Marian University. For more information, visit marian.edu/M Club. Great crew with us tonight. Jordan Shue, our director. The jack of all trades, Sean Walker, handling our replays tonight. J.C. Swartling, Dennis Glover, and David Kahn on the cameras. Alongside Bill Finland. I'm Rob Brown. Happy you're with us on this Wednesday night.
I think it's interesting that Coach Lacrosse took the use it or lose it as the defensive guy in that situation.
Almost always you see that for a play to draw up,
you
right?
know, Marian took theirs on the out of bounds, so they've already used their use it or lose it, and you know, now they gave him a chance to draw something up.
Harvey got stripped,
but
Northern's got a chance to get one off. It won't count. Whoa. And it hit the back of the rim. So the Knights can't get a shot off. But the Knights, who trailed by 5 on a couple of occasions in the first half, used a 9-0 run in the final 5 minutes to grab the lead. And they'll take a 3-point advantage, 38-35, into the halftime break. Stay with us. We'll step out for a couple minutes. We come back. Halftime activities are next as you're watching the Marian Knights on the ISC Sports Network.
This is the Pepsi for America's Best Barbecue. Worthy of 100-mile detours and 1,000 likes. Looks good. This is the Pepsi for mopping, dipping, and dousing. Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you. This is the Pepsi for serious fans and serious eats. This is the Pepsi for Sundays at the ballpark and days off at your favorite pizza joint. Right, Aaron?
Best slice in New York.
Whatever you're craving, this is the Pepsi for you.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. They've been in business for 35-plus years. I'm here with the owner, Richard Michaelis. Hey, Richard, what's the key to the growth over the last 35 years?
Pat, I believe being a family-owned local business that is involved in the community has a lot to do with it.
All right, so you have a lot of services. Tell us about some of those services.
We're really, really strong in the emergency services, smoke, fire damage restoration, storm and water damage restoration, all while working with your insurance company. We also do mold remediation, basement and crawl space waterproofing, foundation repair, and roof repair. We are a full-service company.
All right, as to the owner, we know you wear a lot of hats. What do you do day to day?
I really love being out in the field working with our clients. It gives me a great opportunity to understand their needs so we can take care of them.
Your hands-on approach, I think, is a lot to do with the success of Michaelis. If you find yourself needing their services, give them a call anytime, 24/7 at 844-FIX-INDY. The Michaelis Corporation. Construct, renovate, restore.
I've always liked Indianapolis. I've been interested in the bigger city life. The community and everything fell into place.
With my degree, I plan on becoming a pediatric nurse. Indianapolis has several hospitals and different options to choose from as to where I should go.
I chose Indianapolis because I love the Pacers, I love the Colts, and this is a basketball city. Just wanted to stay in the city, play in front of my friends and family, and try to give Marian my best.
Who's got time for hot dogs and disco music? Your mind's cluttered with thoughts of commercial waste removal. So thank the good Lord above for Ray's Trash. Ray's will collect the intolerable rubbish at all your company's locations up to 6 times a week. That's 42 times in dog weeks. They shred documents and recycle too. And Ray's has roll-off containers for big loads, like construction waste or when your giant dies. Got a business? Get yourself to raystrash.com.
raystrash.com.
Ray's Trash.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Back at the PE Center on the campus at Marian University. We send some kids to the concession stand and get us some Twizzlers. Marian leads at halftime 38-35 over the University of St. Francis Cougars. Welcome you back in. And coaches, we look at the stats here in the first half. Not a lot of numbers that jump out in terms of advantages favoring one team or the other. Maybe the only thing is the three-point shooting. Marian was 5 out of 11, St. Francis 3 of 11, but in 20 minutes of basketball, that's not a significant differential.
It's not really an indicator, but you know, that's why we've got a three-point game. there's not a whole lot going on that's separating the teams tonight. One of the stats that I've always liked to look at is the extra possession stat. And what I mean by that is you take turnovers and you take offensive rebounds, and you add those up, and those are even today. So nobody's getting any extra cracks at it, no more cracks at it than the other guy. And I think, you know, the fact that they're shooting similar percentages and not really turning it over is why we're at a three-point ball game right now.
Well, kind of a tale of two halves. The standpoint of St. Francis was the aggressor early in terms of controlling tempo, had a couple 5-point leads, and then Marian went on a run and led by 8 before St. Francis was able to chip it down to 3 by halftime. What changed, or what did Marian do differently to come from down 5 to up 8?
Well, they made some buckets, and they also got in transition a little bit. And when I say transition, a lot of times people are thinking, well, you know, they're 2-on-1 or they're 3-on-2, and really it's about getting the ball down the floor before the defense is able to dig in and get matched up, and that's where the easiest shots come from. If you can get quickly into your offense before people are, guys are worried about, well, I got this guy, you got this guy, and now there's movement, and that's when you can really take advantage. And I thought Marian had, you know, if you call that maybe secondary offense, Marian had a stretch where they got 3 or 4 buckets that way, and I think that was probably the difference in the half for them offensively.
Well, Marian leads this one by 3 points, 38-35 over the University of St. Francis at the break. Take our first break here on the halftime show. When we come back, we'll have some highlights of the first half. We're back in a moment as you're watching Marian Knights basketball on the ISC Sports Network.
There's Dude Perfect. I was wondering where he was.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. They've been in business over 35 years. I'm here with Joe Polizzi to talk emergency services. Now, Joe, when I set my house on fire with a toaster, you were actually in my yard before the firefighters left.
Well, Pat, I remember that call like it was yesterday, and although I was disappointed that it was yours, I was happy that I was going to be able to provide some assistance.
You know, this true story, a firefighter actually told me I needed to call someone for emergency services, kind of obvious, and I told him Michaelis was on the way. He said, great, because they're the real deal. Joe, now what do you do in these situations when you show up?
Well, we try to be a calming influence, and we try to find out what the needs are of the family. Everybody's needs are different. Everybody's desires are different. What we try to do is match what we could provide with what they need and do it very smoothly.
I've lived it. If you find yourself needing emergency restoration service in the wake of a fire, flood, or storm, give the Michaelis Corporation a call anytime, 24/7, 844-FIX-INDY.
Still waiting? You could have been seen by an orthopedic specialist at Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Avoid the wait, cost, and drama of the ER. Ortho Indy Urgent Care. Orthopedic care without the drama. Find a location near you.
Marian University is like a home to me.
Campus is where I made friends that I know will last a lifetime.
Academics, sports, or arts, Marian's got something for you.
Plus, downtown Indy is just 10 minutes away from campus.
I'm a huge sports fan. Living in Indy, I've got the Knights, the Colts, and the Pacers.
Applying was so fast and easy.
I went to Marian for the education, but what I took away was the experience.
Marian University offers an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.
Well, in that first half, it was the 6'3" sophomore Zane Burke who led the way for the Cougars. He had a game-high 17 points to lead all scorers, 7 of 9 from the floor. And, Coach, he had just an array of shots around the basket, stepped out and hit a 3 as well.
Well, he's an off-sized guy, so he's kind of playing in the post, and they're throwing it down to him, but he's only 6'3". He's got good ball skill. He's an excellent passer, and he's got an array of ways that he can score down there.
Meanwhile, Marian was able to hit a couple threes, as we mentioned, but they were also able to attack and get to the rim, and taking advantage of the fact that this St. Francis roster really doesn't have a rim protector per se. They've been able to get in the paint. Certainly Brody Whitaker with 9 points off the bench was part of that offense.
Yeah, he made a couple of big shots for him in that stretch where they went from being a few points down to being a few points up. He made a couple of very, very tough shots and gave him a big spark off the bench.
Well, these teams will rematch again 1 week from tonight up in Fort Wayne as Crossroads League play continues across this 10-team league. 7 games deep into an 18-game league schedule. We're going to take another break here on the halftime show. When we come back, we'll take you up to the start of the second half. Marian leads St. Francis by 3 points, 38-35. We're back with more in a moment. You're watching the ISC Sports Network.
Pepsi's always had great taste. Today, try great taste with zero sugar. This is the Pepsi with zero compromises. This is Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
Own a home? Here's a tip. Don't dump your garbage in the street. Neighbors get fussy about that sort of thing. Instead, count on Ray's Trash to haul it away. Ray's can supply 96-gallon waste and recycling bins that'll make you the envy of the cul-de-sac. And when you need a roll-off container for that big job, guess who's going to be there for you? That's right, Ray's. Your filth needs a place of its own. Ray's Trash will move it there. You know where to go.
Ray'sTrash.com.
Ray's Trash.
Rob Brown, Bill Finland back with you at the PE Center on the campus of Marian University. Marian leads St. Francis here at the break, 38-35. Tonight's game is brought to us by Indiana Members Credit Union. Indiana Members Credit Union is proud to support Marian University and now offers a free Marian Knights debit card with free checking account. Get your Knights debit card today and show your support. Visit any IMCU branch or sign up online now at imcu.com. Membership savings required, federally insured by NCUA. Tonight's game is also brought to us by Marian Athletics. Marian Athletics. Get all of the up-to-date information on Knights Athletics at muknights.com and follow them on Twitter at MUKnights. That's at MUKnights.
We can follow you on Twitter too, Rob. You are an excellent follow.
Well, I appreciate that. That would be at RBB_Brown.
Excellent follow.
You can follow Coach Finland. I believe that's at Coach B. Finn.
At Coach B. Finn.
At Coach B. Finn. So we're now I asked you this question when you and I first worked together about 5 weeks ago. As we've now gotten deeper and kind of into the meat and potatoes of the basketball season, how do you find the first year out of it for you as a retired basketball coach?
I would be lying if I said I didn't miss it. And the daily contact with players and the practice sessions and the figuring it out and the trying to get better and those kinds of things. I think those are things that I could have done for a while longer at a pretty good rate, I think. But I do not miss getting in my car and driving through the Indiana night to watch high school basketball and recruit. It has become such a monster from a time-consuming aspect that, I just didn't feel like I could give it what it needed. And if you can't do that, you can't be good, right? Like you've got to be able to bring players in, and I wanted to be fair to the program, and that's just something that I wasn't driven to do that part of it at the same level that I had been doing it for years. And that was one of the things that kind of got me moving in another direction. But this part, I love this part. This part is the reason you do it.
Well, in lieu of asking you if you walk around your house at 3 o'clock with a piece of paper folded in half, looking to chart out the next 90 minutes, I'm going to ask you to put your coaching hat on and see what kind of adjustments you might anticipate from each of these two head coaches.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I am watching a lot more games at different levels.
Right.
So, when you're coaching, you're watching game film, the next opponent, whatever. So I'm watching a lot more NBA, Division I basketball, that sort of thing. I think if you are St. Francis, you want to do more better, right? Like you want to do more of what you were doing, and you want to do it just a little bit better than you did in the first half. They controlled tempo, I'd say a good 75% of that game, or that half, and I thought when they were running their stuff and playing through Burke, I thought they were getting high-quality looks. I think the same thing we talked about in the pregame with Marian. I think they want to get going, and they want to be able to stretch out that efficient stretch they had in the first half where they were in transition and that kind of stuff. They need that stretch to be longer here in the second half.
Well, Marian will have the basketball to start the second half. Knights led by Tayshaun Cherry. He had 10 points. Zane Burke was 17 for the Cougars. Cherry was Crossroads League Player of the Week for the final week of December.
You know what St. Francis needs to do? They just need to suit their coach up. The guy scored about 5 million points
Chad
in
LaCrosse
college.
was a tremendous player at Tri-State back then. Now it's Trine University. Cherry on the post up, spins into a double team, and the 15-footer's long. Goman taps at the rebound, but Rady's first to it. Up the floor, Northern. Skip across the floor to McKeeman, and the pass was errant. McKeeman stepped on the baseline and turned it over.
Unforced error. That's what St. Francis can't have. They didn't really have it in transition. That probably wasn't following the plan, that possession.
Just the 6th turnover of the night for the Cougars. Knights have 4. Goman looks for Lane Cable, catch and shoot at the top of the key, and he knocks in the 3.
He really got those shoulders squared and got to balance quickly on that catch. Tough shot.
With a 6-point lead for the Knights as they score first here in half number 2. McKeeman's jump hook and short. And Hetty walks it up for the Knights. Dribble handoff, Lane Cable at the hash. Harvey's got it in the left corner. Picked up by Northern Cherry. Right back out to Harvey for a kick out 3. That's short. Rady has his 2nd rebound of the half. 5th of the game. Cross up by McCain, left it for Rady trailing, and he rushed it on the back of the rim, and a late whistle will put Rady at the line.
You know, you see this more and more, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it seems with some of these late calls that they're kind of waiting to see if the ball goes in, and if it goes in, it's a no harm, no foul kind of situation, and if it doesn't, that's when you get those late whistles. And from a coaching standpoint, my feeling is, hey, if it's a foul, just call it.
So Cherry takes the foul. I'm with you on that. You may have seen on Rady's right shoulder some red circles. That would suggest to me that he's had some shoulder trouble, and they've used some cupping technique to try and get some of the inflammation out of that right shoulder.
Either that, or he's got, you know, some kind of humors, and they're using leeches at St. Francis to, you know, take care of it. I don't know.
Great drive to the rim and finish by Harvey. He's got 9. 43-36. Northern crosses up lane cable into the lane. Scoop shots off the mark, but Rady's first to the rebound. Out to Burke for 3. Good. I was just about to say that Burke had yet to touch the ball in this second half.
The first time he does, he knocks in 3.
He has 20. His 6th 20-point game of the season. Back to a 4-point game. Harvey had it knocked free by Burke. McKeeman on the run up the right side. Dribbles into traffic, finds Northern, who sets it up. Northern drives on Hetty all the way to the goal. Shot it with the other hand. Don't often see players attacking the rim from the left side shoot a right-hand layup, but Northern did that time and scored.
Right hand, right shoulder is usually not a good recipe, but he was able to finish that.
His first 2, it's a 2-point game. 5 straight by the Cougars. Harvey's pull-up is blocked by Rady, but it comes back to Harvey. 10 seconds to shoot. Rady blocked it again. Harvey's got the rebound again. Possession continues for the Knights, but down to 4 on the timer. Lane cable fall away, he traveled.
Ooh, tough possession right there.
You mentioned in the first half about Rady not letting offensive players get into his chest, giving space. He blocked 2 shots on that possession.
And you notice he had space both times. You got to kind of lay in the weeds if you're a shot blocker. You can't. You can't jump if somebody's on your chest.
Ashton Johnson is back in for the Cougars, number 23. He hit 2 threes off the bench in the first half. Played by Brody Whitaker, who's into the game for the Knights, as McKeeman got loose in the lane, hit the 10-footer to tie the game at 43.
That was a great little cluster screen over on the other side for a good shooter in McKeeman, curling into the middle of the lane right there.
4th tie of the game. Early stages, second half. Goman at the elbow, high-low into Cherry, deep catch, and Cherry fouled on the catch by Rady. Rady's foul, his 3rd. So both Rady and Cherry with 3 personals.
Not a good foul right there. He was too deep on the high-low. He was already under the bucket. Just needed a wall up right there.
And Rady on the double team dug down and took it away from Whitaker. Johnson down the middle of the floor, attacking Goman with the left hand, flipped it up and in, and the Cougars have come back to regain the lead.
Cougars showing a lot of active hands. The second guy in the gap is getting their hands on a lot of balls.
Goman top of the circle, looks for the cutter, instead unloads left side Harvey. Cherry 3 behind the screen. Too strong with it. Cushingberry takes it the other way. Burke resets between the circles. Chad Lacrosse, you see him just to the left of your screen directing the traffic in front of his bench. Cushingberry curls into the paint, too much size in there, so he circles it back out. Attacking again. Johnson a long 3 out front, late clock, and he knocks it in. 3rd 3 of the game for Ashton Johnson, and Scott Hetty wants time. Timeout called, as this is a 12-0 run by St. Francis. Full timeout. We'll go ahead and take a break. 15:27 to go. St. Francis leads Marian 48-43. We're back in a moment. You're watching Marian Knights basketball on the ISC Sports Network.
Does your school offer high-quality education? Does it offer virtual or hybrid options? Marian University Preparatory School educates students in a safe, faith-based environment focused on college and career exploration. Here at Marian University Preparatory School, we empower parents and help students to master what they love and learn as they live. We are now enrolling students in grades 6 through 9 this fall. Full financial aid packages are still available. Act now to make MU Prep your school for 2022.
Well, Ashton Johnson with 13 points off the bench, and he scored the last 5. He averages less than 2 points per game, does the freshman from Fort Wayne Southside.
Well, he's shooting it like it's supposed to go in, so especially those last couple of threes that he hit. But I'll tell you, Rob, I think the only time St. Francis has had any trouble in these last 5 minutes, these first 5 minutes of the half, is when they've tried to go too fast. When they've settled in and run their stuff, they're getting great looks, putting pressure on Marian's half-court defense, and they're kind of executing the game plan right now.
Cougars in the midst of a 12-0 run to flip a 7-point deficit into a 5-point advantage. Maximus Gizzi is on for Marian. He'll man the point. Goman top of the circle. Gizzi looking for Whitaker, curling off the screen. Whitaker to the catch. Back to Gizzi. He's got the side ISO'd. Backs Johnson down. Leaves for a trailer Cherry. No space to shoot. Whitaker into the lane. Spins on McKeeman. Put up the shot short. Goman tapped at it, but couldn't corral it off the end line. It goes back to the Cougars.
Whitaker being aggressive, trying to force the issue right there. I think St. Francis just held their ground and didn't foul. Played physical without fouling is a really important thing to be able to do in a game like this.
Johnson drives Whitaker in the paint, kicks to Cushingberry. Run off the line, back to Johnson for another 3. That's short. Good contest by Whitaker, rebound Goman. Cherry wants it. Backing in against Loden from the right side. Turnaround shot up and in. That stops the run at 12-0.
You got a size mismatch down there. I think if you're St. Francis, that's the shot you want him to take. Shoot it over the top.
Burke with 20 points in the game, down to Johnson. Posting, spins on Whitaker, put it up and in and drew the foul. Oh my. Ashton Johnson going to work. Whitaker's foul, his second. Ashton Johnson averaging 1.9 points. Played a scoreless 9 minutes on Saturday afternoon, the loss to Taylor. He's got 15 points in the game.
Cougars might have found something here.
Missed the free throw, so the lead stays at 5. Inside 14 minutes to go. Lang Cable, played by Loden on a switch. Goman's open for a long 3 that rims off. Cherry taps the rebound to himself in the traffic and put it up and in. Cushingberry stripped the other way. It rolled off his leg and out of bounds. Back to the Knights. Look at this last play, Coach. It's one of the few times tonight where we've seen Cherry play big.
Yeah.
And exploit his size advantage.
You'd like to see him do that a little bit more. It's not what he seems like he really wants to do.
Whitaker curling in the lane, got McKeeman on his hip, flipped it up and in and drew the foul. McKeeman's foul, his second, the team's second. Where Brody Whitaker has really given the Knights a spark off the bench. Into double figures for the 8th time this season.
Good, tough physical move, great finish.
Knocks in the free throw. 3-point play completed to tie the game. Our 5th tie of the game. Johnson thought about a 3. Instead over to Cushingberry. Out to Burke for three, and he got it. Same spot he hit one earlier in the half. And Zane Burke has matched his season high with 23 points. Gizzy to Goman out front. Cherry posting in the lane. Turnaround shot over load and rolls good.
That's the one right there. Taking advantage of that size mismatch, getting it a little deeper.
Sub for each team waiting at the table at the next stoppage. Cushingberry drives Gizzy into the paint. Put it up, put it in. Cushingberry's been very quiet tonight. Just his 6th shot attempt. He comes in averaging almost 20 a game. He has 4.
He hasn't really tried to force the issue. We'll see how his game develops over these last 12 minutes. They're going to need him to score, I think.
Goman tosses in a 3 to tie the game. Goman's 2nd 3 of the game. 2nd Marian 3 of the half, and we're tied at 55. Inside 12 minutes. Students chanting for defense here at the PE Center. Burke backs Goman into the paint. Spins, up and under move. He's got it again.
See, I think you just have to have a better strategy on a guy like that. If you're going to guard him one-on-one, you got to make him finish in the middle over the top. You can't let him spin back to the baseline where there's zero help.
Gavin Foe has returned for Marian. Brandon Northern is on for St. Francis. Cushingberry walks it up. And I was going to say, Coach, a credit to Cushingberry. He has acknowledged clearly that Burke is the guy going tonight, so he's not forced to shots and has really kind of let Burke do his thing.
Yep, they're playing through him.
Johnson attacks. He partially blocked in traffic. I think Whitaker got a piece. Here come the Knights the other way. Cherry ahead of steam. All the way to the goal. He lays it in. Cherry with 8 in the half, rather. 18 in the ball game. We're tied up.
I think part of it also, Rob, is, Cushingberry's a giddy-up kind of guy, and they're not trying to giddy up.
Good point.
And I think that Burke is a tempo guy, right? He's going to get it, and if you're going to be one-on-one with him down there, he's going to bounce it, he's going to bounce it, he's going to look around, he's going to spin, he's going to mess with you a little bit, and that's the plan for this game. And, good players adjust to whatever the plan happens to be.
Rady returns for Loden during that dead ball for the Cougars. Cushingberry drives Gizzy into the lane. Gizzy got a piece of it on the way up, and diving for the loose ball. Foe is called for a foul, and that's going to be the 4th foul on Gavin Foe. That's a tough call.
Those are tough. Those loose balls, you're not sure really who has advantage, and
Foe will stay on for now. We'll see if St. Francis goes at him here to try and get his 5th foul. Johnson drives, shovels to Rady, blocked from behind by Langcable. What a play. The stoppage allows Scott Heddy to get Foe out of the game with 4 fouls and get Goman back into the contest.
That was a quick blow for the Swiss Army knife. He wasn't out long.
Well, Foe picked up 2 fouls in about 15 seconds. Quick catch and shoot off the inbound. Rady's 3 is short. Shot clock was in its final stages. Did not draw a rim, so the shot clock violation gives it back.
I tell you what, you can't get a much better shot with 1 second on the shot clock.
Wide
than
open
that.
3. Tie score nearing the halfway mark to go in this second half, 57-57. Entertaining game here at the PE Center. Langcable 3 behind Cherry's screen off the back of the rim. Goman taps it to Whitaker, who taps to Cherry, who turns and shoots and hits. Cherry with 10 in the half, 20 in the ball game.
That is a tough shot because I think he was not really squared when he jumped in the air. He got himself squared in the air and knocked that one in.
First Knights lead in almost 6 minutes. Rallied back from 5 down. Burke with a rare miss. Tapped up almost and in by Rady, but Goman's there to clear it away. Burke has missed just 3 shots of his 13. Has a team high 25. Gizzy fouled on the drive. Foul is on Northern, his first and the team's third. Gizzy baseline looking, flips it out to Cherry. Goman between the circles. Langcable runs high screen roll with Cherry. Finds the big man on the right side, flip shot up and in. Cherry's got it rolling right now.
St. Francis a little unsure about how they want to defend the ball screen, if they want to switch, if they want to hedge. It got him into a little trouble that time.
6 straight points from the night, four of which have come from Cherry. Cushingberry killed his dribble out front, McKeeman. Johnson tried to find the swing, his pass deflected. Whitaker's got the loose ball to the other end, he lays it up and in. Timeout, St. Francis. Timeout called by St. Francis as Marian has reeled off 8 in a row. 30-second timeout will stay here.
Scoring off their defense a little bit, and that'll get you going, get you juiced up, and I think that's something that St. Francis is going to have to come out of this timeout and again really try to gain control of the tempo of the game again.
Crowd is into it with 8:37 to go and the Knights up 6. Tonight's game brought to us by the Michaelis Corporation. From ground-up building projects to around-the-clock emergency security services, no one answers your prayers or the phone's quicker than Michaelis. Call them at 1-844-FIX-INDY, 1-844-FIX-INDY. And during that timeout, as you would anticipate, Coach, Chad Lacrosse gets Zane Burke back into the game as he was on the bench during this brief 8-0 run by the Knights.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to ride him. He's really got it going. They're going to have to ride him a little bit.
63-57. Marian leads by 6. St. Francis the ball out of the timeout. Each team with 3 timeouts remaining. Johnson, left side of Northern. Northern drives Gizzy into the paint. Flip shot up short. Rebound is tapped and grabbed by Goman. Chad Lacrosse wanted some contact in the paint. Instead, the Knights will bring it the other way with a 6-point lead. Goman peers for the cutter. Instead finds Whitaker. The C's part. Whitaker drives right to the rim and puts it up and in.
Good action. Marian running their half-court stuff to perfection that time.
10-0 Marian run. Whitaker has 16 off the bench. And the lead, Marian has matched its biggest lead of the night, 8. McKeeman in the corner. Takes Gizzy into the paint. Falling away, flipped it up too strong. And Cherry up over everyone to get the rebound. Langcable on the right side. Picked up by Burke on a switch, spins into the paint. His runner rolls off the front of the rim. Cougars attacking the other way with a man advantage. Johnson stop and go move to the goal, put it up too strong, got his own rebound, flipped it up and in over the front of the rim. Ashton Johnson with 17 off the bench. That stops a 10-0 Marian run.
Stopped the bleeding. Almost didn't, though.
3 subs to the table for the Knights, waiting to step in at the next opportunity. Whitaker stopped in the lane by Northern, still backs him down, chests him up, and an offensive foul.
I think that's a pretty good call.
Third foul on Whitaker, 5th on the Knights.
He's not trying to go around him. He's just going through him, and St. Francis holds their ground there. I think that's the right call.
Media timeout called. We'll go ahead and take a break. 6:41 to go. Marian leads by 6, 65-59. We're back in a moment. You're watching Marian University basketball on the ISC Sports Network.
Is your building haunted or infested with icky snakes? Then tear it down. The Raised Trash Demolition Squad can flatten buildings up to 3 stories tall. Whether it's a commercial or residential structure, the Raised Trash Demo experts will make it go boom. And with their roll-off containers, they'll haul away the mess quicker than you can say, hey, there used to be a building there. Bring your old fire trap to its knees with Raised Trash.
RaisedTrash.com.
Raised Trash.
Too much.
6:41 to go. Rob Brown, Bill Finland with you from the PE Center on the campus of Marian University.
What do I got to do to get one of these Hawaiian shirts?
We're going to talk to Mitch on the way out and see about getting one for us to. I can see you when the weather breaks. I can see you kind of.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm spending a lot of time in Florida. You can't have too many Hawaiians.
I was going to say, when the weather breaks, I can see you kind of roaming around Greencastle. You know,
yeah.
When the sun's out,
I'm not afraid to.
People get the shorts out for the first time in April.
I'm not afraid to. But the highlight there of Whitaker coming off that steal and getting that layup, he's really, really, you know, the offensive foul there notwithstanding, he's really, really been a spark for Marian tonight.
Well, both teams have been the recipient of some bench production. Whitaker was 16 off the bench, and Ashton Johnson was 17 off the bench for St. Francis. Cushingberry's back in the game. Burke wants it in the post and gets it against Goman. Burke one-on-one, turning, shooting, and scoring. He's got the full arsenal in the paint tonight.
He's got it, you know, because now, and I said that before, you got to make him finish in the middle, and I think that's right. And Goman made him finish in the middle right there, and he finished in the middle.
He is 11 of 14 as Burke with a season-high 27. Harvey killed his dribble, needs help. Finds Foe back in. Foe is number 44, playing with 4 fouls. Langcable curls into the lane, gives to Harvey. Cut off on a drive. Foe with the shot clock at 4. Langcable back to Foe. Fadeaway 3. Nicked the back of the rim. He got the shot off. But the Cougars come the other way. Northern through the lane, runs right in the chest of Langcable. Langcable never got himself squared up. Defensively takes the foul, his second.
I'll tell you what, going back to Burke, Rob, it's just like you look at him and he doesn't look the part, right? Not super quick, not real athletic, just a skilled basketball player who knows how to play with pace.
Cushingberry drove in the lane, all sorts of contact. There were 2 defenders there. If it's Foe, that's 5 fouls, and it is. So Foe has fouled out of the ball game.
Cushingberry kind of forcing the issue there and was able to get the call to go his way. I'm not sure he had a ton of room.
There's only been 14 free throws shot tonight. Knights are 4 out of 5, and these will be attempts number 10 and 11 for St. Francis. Cushingberry hits the first. You talked about NBA games, that you're watching more NBA games, Coach. You see the Miami Heat went 40 of 40 from the foul line last night.
Yeah, that's good shooting.
That's pretty strong.
They are free, though.
They are. Cushingberry with 2.
Even though those guys make a lot of money, they like anything that's free, too. They're just like
that
me. They're just like me and you.
Absolutely. I can speak to that from firsthand experience. 6 straight points for St. Francis to pull within 2. Cherry, deep catch against Northern, fouled on the catch. He flipped it in, but it won't count. Not at this level, anyway. Cushingberry's foul, his first, and just the team's 4th. Excuse me, Northern's foul, his second. Harvey looking, and Hetty, who's back into the contest. Cherry, double comes, he finds a cutting Harvey, pass across the paint to Goman, out to Langcable for 3, in and out. Rebounded by Burke. Cushingberry into the lane, Northern, 3 for the lead, got it. First 3 of the night for Northern. And St. Francis has come all the way back from 8 down to lead 66-65.
And they're not in a hurry to do it, and I think that's important.
Harvey at the left arc. Has a 3 on the night, but not a volume three-point shooter. Wants a driving angle, instead gets a screen. Gets it right back from Langcable. Jumper straight away by Harvey's off the back of the iron. Goman taps the rebound to himself. Looks for a teammate. Finds Langcable for 3. That's no good. Cushingberry and Harvey fight for the rebound. Cushingberry called for the foul, much to the dismay of Chad Lacrosse.
I think he had his arm pinned down right there because he did have inside position, but he's a little outsized right there, and he's just trying to keep him from going up to grab it.
Just the 15th foul on St. Francis, so no shots for Marian. 20 seconds on the shot clock on the semi-reload. Cherry down the baseline, the C's part, and he puts it down with the right hand. Cherry 14 in the second half, 24 in the ball game.
Somebody blew an assignment that time.
And the Knights are back on top, 67-66. 4 minutes to go. Cushingberry facing up on Harvey with 10 to shoot. Wants Loden to set the screen. Now played on the switch by Goman. Ball swung around the horn. Northern, nice bounce in Loden, but he's underneath the bucket. He's pinned underneath the bucket. He got the shot off. Is there a shot clock violation? There is. That was close. Loden got trapped under the bucket.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it shouldn't have been the underneath guy calling it.
Yeah, you look at the replay. We've got the shot clock, and that's
hits
great
the
work
rim
by
right
our
here.
crew. That's great work by our crew. That ball, the clock's at 0 before the ball hits the underside of the rim. So that is indeed a shot clock violation. Great work by our crew there on the replay. We got an immediate timeout. We'll keep it here. Okay. Well, the officials have asked for our crew to put the replay back up so they can take a look at it.
Well, got my boy Kyle Ingram over there at the table, and his dad never needed the replay. When I had his dad calling my games back in the day.
So they're trying to get it, take a look at where is the ball coming out of Loden's hand to see if it hits the rim. I think it's still on his hand.
I mean, I'm going to count the bracket as the rim.
Yeah, if you're counting the bracket as the rim, it hits the rim. The question is the ball still on his fingertips when the shot clock hits 0? It's just like an end of quarter or an end of half scenario in that regard. Well, the officials have seen all they need to see, and it looks like it'll be Marian basketball, so the call will stand. Boy, it sure doesn't look like, well, I don't know. It's tough to call. It looks like
it may never have gotten there.
Boy.
Ooh, that's close.
Yeah, I don't know. Do they count the underside as the rim as the ball hitting the rim? I don't know the rule on that, I'll admit it.
I think the rim is the rim.
Yeah.
Any part of that metal is part of the rim.
I think you're right. Marian has the basketball, up 1. Harvey has the left side cleared out if he wants to drive. Instead, Langcable comes to get it left corner. Back to Harvey on a kick out. Goman, pump fake 3. Now the shot clock inside 10. Cherry attacks, runner up, tough shot off the back of the iron. Burke's got the rebound. Just the 5th miss of the night for Cherry on 16 attempts. Cougars looking to regain the lead. Cushingberry looks over at the bench for the play call from his head coach, Chad Lacrosse. Ball swung to the far side. Loden gets the screen, hands to Cushingberry. He drives Langcable, lost in lane, poke free, bounce ahead to Cherry. He's got a head of steam and throws it behind his back right to Northern. Marian never got settled in that possession. Now St. Francis looks to take advantage. Cushingberry down the baseline, shovels to Loden underneath. Shot blocked by Langcable. St. Francis gets it back. Plenty of time on the timer. 18 seconds to shoot. Boy, a wild scramble at both ends. Still a 1-point lead. Cushingberry lost the handle, got it back. Still time. Corner three by Northern. He got it. What an exchange.
Oh, I think you might have got a piece of that. The rotation of the ball changed. It might have been slightly blocked.
Second three in the last 2 minutes for Northern. All 8 of his points have come in the second half. Harvey drives, lead for Langcable, 3 for the lead. Cushingberry might have gotten a piece. 2 minutes to go. Chad Lacrosse says, let's slow this thing down. Cougars lead by 2 after the Northern 3. Chad Lacrosse wants time. We'll keep it here with 1:53 to go. Full timeout. Both teams with 3 timeouts remaining, so St. Francis burns one up 2. Tonight's game is brought to us by our friends at First Onsite, formerly More Restoration. And they're here to help you power through whatever comes your way. They are a leading North American property restoration company that specializes in emergency response restoration and reconstruction following disasters of any kind, from fire and flood to catastrophic storms or biohazards. They have the team, technology, and resources to help you restore, rebuild, and rise. Go Knights. Take a look at that last dunk by Tayshawn Cherry. He has 14 of his 24 here in the second half, but it's a Marian defensive stop that's needed for the Knights to get the ball back and a chance to tie this game down 2.
Well, I'll tell you, the set that they've run, and I'd be surprised if we didn't see one of 2 things. The first thing would be playing through Burke off the block like they've been doing all night. But they've also been able to have some success with that little cluster screen and the shooter curling off that cluster screen for that mid-range. I think we're going to see one of those 2 things from the Cougars coming out of the timeout.
Marian led 65-57 with 7:50 to go. But over the last 6 minutes, St. Francis has outscored Marian 12-2.
In fact, Rob, I'm willing to bet you dinner for 2 at the Copper Kettle
in Morristown
that you're going to see one of those 2 things coming out of the timeout. You on? You in?
Ooh, I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in. 1:53 to go. 7 ties, 7 lead changes in this game. And St. Francis with the ball up 2. Knights are over the foul limit. St. Francis has a foul to give. Possession arrow favors the Cougars. Cushingberry gets a high screen from Burke. Burke gets it back. Shovel to Cushingberry. Out front with 5 on the timer. Cushingberry drives to the bucket, flipped it up short. Great contest by Gizzy. And on the loose ball rebound scramble, Loden is fouled.
Great hustle play by Loden. He came a long way to get involved in that rebounding. And just beat Marian to the ball right there. Well, I guess I owe you dinner for 2 because we didn't see either one of the 2 things that I predicted.
We did not. That foul for Marian, I believe, went to Langcable. Team 8. So Loden shoots a 1-1. Loden last played college basketball 2 years ago, injured last year. Prior to that, he played at Northwood University up in Michigan. 1-1, free throw up and in. Played his high school ball not far from here at Avon, western suburb of Indianapolis. Only about 20 minutes from here. Hits them both. It's a 4-point lead. 2 big free throws by Loden. And the St. Francis lead is 4. Langcable gives to Gizzy. Goman looking for Cherry in deep. Instead, out top Langcable. Trying to find Cherry working against Loden down the baseline. Falls away. Missed the shot. Fouled prior to the shot is the determination.
Yeah, it looked like he had both hands on him on that post up. They ran 2 different little on big cross screens to try to get Cherry the ball on that possession. Second one worked.
Just a 16 foul, so no shots for Marian. Whitaker cut off on a drive by Northern. Cherry wants it and gets it. Mid-left block. Double comes and a foul called. Might be away from the ball. No, on the ball. It's team foul 7, however, so that puts Cherry at the line for a 1-and-1. Foul on Loden, his third. Team 7. Just the second free throw of the half for the Knights. Cherry shoots a big 1-and-1. Rattles it home. He is 4 away from his season high of 29. Second one on the way, good. Cherry pulls the Knights back within 2. 1:05 to go.
Biggest possession of the game for St. Francis, and a great time to take a timeout.
Timeout called. Full timeout will stay here. 1:01 to go here at the PE Center. St. Francis with the basketball and a 2-point lead. St. Francis has 1 timeout remaining, Marian 3. Both teams are in the bonus, single bonus, as the Knights with 18 fouls and the Cougars with 7.
I'm willing to go double or nothing
at
the Copper Kettle,
Let's do
because
it.
I'm watching it and I'm seeing what's working for them, and they went to something we haven't really seen. They tried to get Cushenberry isolated in the middle of the floor. They let Burke set a little ghost screen for him, but they really weren't going to go to Burke on that possession. So we'll see if they go back to the kind of the bread and butter stuff that has put him in this position over the course of the first 39 minutes of the game.
About as even as you can get. Both teams shooting right at around 50%. Turnovers even at 10. St. Francis a slight edge on the glass, 30-27.
It's been a really good game, and you really got to take your hat off to St. Francis, you know, in a tough league, coming on the road to play a really good team and executing their game plan from start to finish.
And we should mention missing one of their starters tonight in Brayton Bailey, who started every game, averages about 29 minutes a game, 9 points, their leading assist guy. So a man down in their rotation tonight.
That's true, and they may have found a little more depth as a result. If they could get away with a win and creating a little more depth on their roster, it's a pretty good night for the Cougars.
1:01 to go. Cushenberry sets it up out between the circles, played by Harvey. Marian students chanting for some defense. Loden fares out to get it top of the circle. Burke into the lane, scoops it up, flipped it up, and in. Zane Burke with 29, the lead back to 4. Inside 40 seconds to go.
It wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but it was the guy.
Harvey stepped right through 2 defenders and lays it in. So a quick 2 is what was needed. Now the Knights need to turn St. Francis over as the game clock and the shot clock are virtually in sync. We'll see if the Knights decide to foul down 2. Scott Heddy is yelling at Christian Harvey to foul, and finally he does with 15 and 8/10 seconds to go.
Well, they had a timeout. They didn't take it.
Harvey's foul, his second, the team 9, so 1-1 for Cushenberry, who's an 85% free throw shooter.
I'm very surprised they didn't take a timeout after that make.
Free throw, rims out. The 2-point game. 12 seconds to go, crowd on their feet, here we go. Knights down 2. Harvey all the way to the goal. Northern blocks the shot out of bounds. But the Knights will have a chance to run something here out of the timeout. Scott Heddy calls one first. Harvey lost his footing and wasn't able to elevate on that shot, allowing Northern to block it off the inline.
Yep, he got there. If he hadn't lost balance, he probably could have got fouled and possibly scored that one.
So the Knights have 2 timeouts remaining. So Scott Heddy takes a full timeout here. 4 and 7/10 seconds to go. Marian down 2.
Yeah, he's still got 2 timeouts left.
A St. Francis foul on the floor would result in a 1-and-1 for the Knights, as the Cougars have just 17 fouls. Now, neither one of these teams has played an overtime game this year, and I'm going to get ahead of myself, but see the layup by Christian Harvey that made it a 2-point game. And then Antoine Cushingberry missed the front end of the 1-and-1. 15 seconds later to set up this last possession.
Yeah, I was really surprised they didn't go ahead and take a timeout right there on the make, just so they know who they want to foul and what they want to do if they get possession.
So Marian will have it baseline right, under a 2. 4 and 7/10 seconds to go. Knights need a bucket to extend this game. A 3 would win it.
But that's what's going to be on my gravestone, actually, Rob.
What's that?
He died with 9 million timeouts still in his pocket.
Whitaker on the inbound. Lobs it into Cherry. Cherry had it poked free. Turns, shoots. Too strong. Tapped up, no, and that'll do it. So St. Francis comes in to the PE Center and knocks off the number 16 team in the country. A big road win for the St. Francis Cougars tonight on the west side of Indianapolis. We'll go ahead and keep it here to wrap. St. Francis winning this game 73-71. Take a look at the final shot. Decent look by Tyshawn Cherry. I couldn't see, Coach, whether or not he got hit. He certainly was acting like he got hit. Let's take another look.
I think he got whacked right there. He got whacked again. You know, I think very often, late game, it's got to be super obvious. I think the officials would much prefer to not call a foul in that situation, and that's what happened.
Well, Marian led by Tyshawn Cherry, who had 26. Zach Burke led all scorers for St. Francis. He had a game-high 29. You mentioned, Coach, for St. Francis, this is a huge win for them to get this one on the road, but for Marian, a tough one to let get away, a home conference game, and the Knights will have to regroup on the road at Mount Vernon Nazarene on Saturday.
Well, I think that's what you're talking about. You can't get this one back, right? So then you have to take a look at your schedule and say, all right, now we got to go on the road and maybe steal one that we're not supposed to get, right? And I think you got to figure out a way to spin it and turn it into a positive, and I'm sure that that's what Coach Heddy will do.
Well, we want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Coach. It was a blast.
Yeah, man.
I'll catch you at the Copper Kettle.
Absolutely.
Fried chicken's on me.
I'm not going. I've already given up all the dinners.
I want to thank our great crew, our director, Jordan Shue, our replay man, John Walker, J.C. Swartling, Dennis Glover, and David Kahn on the cameras. On behalf of our entire ISC Network crew, it's been Rob Brown saying so long, everybody, from Marian.
The minute I stepped foot on campus, I didn't want to leave.
Everyone here is about helping you succeed. It's hard work, but it's totally worth it.
I have so much support from my advisors.
The nursing program is why I chose Marian.
I'm studying to be a teacher.
I'm a business major.
My professors really challenge me, and I know I'll be ready for my career.
A great education is the best thing you could ever do for yourself.
Marian University, an exceptional education and an unforgettable experience. Apply today for full scholarship consideration at marian.edu.